take you through this exact process so you'll be able to see exactly what the gunners are doing, but at the moment we'll just let them load and fire as a starting point for the actual display this afternoon. I will tell you when you need to have your hands over your ears. You can see now they're putting the wads of grass into the gun, ramming them in with the rammer, nice and hard. That's what gives it a beautiful crack. He's now what's called pricking the gun, going through the cartridge, pouring a little bit of black powder onto the top of it in order to make it fire. He's going to get the lens stop to fire the gun. Now would be a good time to be getting your hands over your ears and getting your mouth open. In the background you can also hear the drums signalling the beginning of the... There you go, first firing. And now, as smoke rolls across the battlefield, they are now what's called worming out the gun. He's got a little piece of twisted metal on the end of that, which he's putting down the barrel of the gun in order to search out any stray embers or pieces of paper or anything else that's left over from the charge. When he's happy that there is nothing left down the barrel of the gun, then they will take the worm out and move on to the next piece of equipment. Okay, so now he's taken the worm out, and now a wet mop is being put down there, basically dampened sheepskin down the barrel of the gun to make sure that the gun is clean and also to damp out any embers. Now a dry mop is put down the barrel of the gun, dry in order to dry the barrel. The charge is put down and rammed home, just as you saw him do previously. Ramming home the charge, putting down the first wad of grass, ramming it home again, and then pricking open the package of powder within the gun. There's a little touch hole on the cannon, then pouring on the black gunpowder on top of that, which is what sets it off. You'll notice now that the other gunner has a gloved hand over the top of it in order to stop the powder blowing away. He now brings the lens stop, put your hands over your ears and open your mouth, because he's going to fire. Oh, that was a lovely one, ladies and gentlemen. And then the process repeats all over again. It's been sponged, then it's dried off, ready for the next charge, which the gun captain has in his hand. The charge goes down the gun and is rammed home, and then down go the wads as well.
Who's that saying?
I'm informed the gun captain is a major, so I refer to him as such. Now the charge is ready again. He's going to fetch the lens stop, which has lighted match on it. A good time to put your hands over your ears and get your mouth open. And those of you who've got good hearing will hear him say, "Have a care," when he's about to fire, and that's when you know he's going to fire. There we go. And sometimes when the gun fires, you can see little bits of grass or wadding or other things that come out with the gun barrel as well. There's nothing hard, so nothing like a projectile, just bits of grass and paper sometimes. You can see he's got something on the end of the worm again. And again, he worms out the barrel to make sure there's nothing down it, and then again, the wet mop. And now the dry mop, and you can see, although it takes a while to load and fire the gun, the crew are speeding up now, and they're getting a little bit quicker. And now they've finished 2 rounds on the gun. I think we're moving on now from the gun to the next part of the regiment. And I think see that the gentleman in red, Captain North, is commanding the regiment this afternoon. Sir Marmaduke Rawdon's regiment, which is the main one you see here, is what's called a regiment of foot. That means we have no cavalry, all the soldiers are on foot this afternoon. The guys that have got what look like the tall poles, they are pikemen, and the gentlemen who have the guns, they are musketeers. In front you have the drums and colours of the regiment. that it's time for the regiment to move. And now they will march into the centre of the arena so that you can see them properly, bringing forward the musket division. Drums and colours at the front, and the gentleman in green, who is the officer in command of the musket block, and the pipe block, and the gentleman towards one side with the blue sash, who is commanding the pipe block. The pipes are roughly 16 foot long, so in this wind you can imagine it's quite something controlling them. And you'll see that a few of the men at the back have the shorter implements, those are bills. They're used in a very similar way to pipes and are a reduction of an agricultural implement. So as the regiment marches round, you can see everybody, and then in a moment we're going to show you what the pipe block and the musket block have to do in order in battle. And then once you've seen these postures now, later on this afternoon we will be doing a proper skirmish for you to actually see in a battle situation what the regiment does. Charge goes down the barrel. They take out what's called a scouring stick, ram the charge home, reverse the scouring stick and put it back in the gun again. That's very important so they don't end up firing it by accident. They are clearing what's called the pan of the gun, where they will put the powder, a bit like the touch hole that you saw on the cannon, making ready to actually fire the musket. And you'll see that some of the more experienced musketeers at the front are already ready. Their officer waits until the whole division is ready to fire. And you'll notice they all have in their hands a piece of match. They're bringing that piece of match up to the right point of the gun, putting it into what's called a serpent, so it's ready to fire. So we're getting ready for a point where you need to have your hands over your ears again as the block fires. I think we're just waiting for a couple of people to be ready. You will see that some of them are... Oh, now the block is ready to fire again. This is another salve. And now the block is fired. You will notice that there may be one or two what's called misfires, where the gun doesn't actually fire. Those musketeers will go to the back of the division, fire off their gun safely, and then rejoin the division once the gun has been fired. Musketeers will come closer to where you are so that you can actually see what they're doing up close. You can look at the manoeuvres that they're doing and how they're loading and firing the gun in a way that it makes it a bit easier for you to actually see them. They can't come any closer than that, otherwise you'd be looking down the barrel of a gun, which is never really a good place to be in life. So now you can see the musketeers in front of you with their guns, with their lighted match.